Yeah, so we have a tiny little house in Islington, and we were almost through our renovation, where we had engaged with some previous designers who uh, really didn't understand where we wanted to go, and we were really having a challenge bring it all together. And then we chatted with a good friend of ours who had been working with Kate, you, and they recommended you wholeheartedly. So we of course reached out, and it was it was a great experience to kind of bring this all together and understand where we were trying to go, uh, pick out materials and products that were sympathetic to our design aesthetic as well as our budget, pushing us a little bit in some directions. And it was a fantastic experience. And I think our house, even though it's not 100% done yet, it's almost there. And it looks amazing. I'm really, really pleased with the results.
Oh, great. Okay, so because your architects have done a lovely job when
Yes.
I started working with you, but what did you think you were still struggling with, or?
Well, we were struggling with, how do we bring it all together, right? So we've got some joinery in place. We've got the flooring. We have some bits here, but not the soft finishes and the things that will kind of tie everything together.
Mhm.
And so we had a bench. Well, how do we get a fabric that'll match what some other designer decided to do with our curtains? And how do we bring all these colors together and textures together and make it look cohesive and thought
Mhm.
through,
Yeah.
because
So
we
it's almost
had
like you go on,
oh
go on.
we had a blank canvas. I mean, we had a building with some walls and some some lamps built in, but that's the extent of it. And what art goes on what wall, what about the rugs and the pillows and just all the small finishes and putting together the shelves that were open and bare. And that it just so it was a house, but it felt very austere, and it needed to be brought together and made feel cohesive, whole, and comfortable. And I think that's what we achieved in the end.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. So did you think you weren't going to initially need an interior designer, or had you
Well,
planned to?
we had initially investigated a bunch of interior designers. We're looking at that and thinking, okay, this is something we should be doing. But our architect convinced us, oh no, 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 I'll be able to kind of take care of everything. You don't need a designer. And so we assumed that, okay, well, I guess that means we're going to be working on the whole picture. But of course, she was thinking more about, well, we can pick out the things that are fixed to walls and some of the colors, and but that's about where it ended. And didn't
Mhm.
it, since we hadn't gone through this process before, we didn't realize really who does what in this grand project. Who's responsible for which piece, and how do we make sure that it works.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and since obviously from my accent we aren't from this country, things were very different to begin with when in working with an architect. So we thought, oh well, maybe that's just part and parcel of what they do here, uh, rather naively. But I mean, yes, we have a beautiful product and the architect did a great job, but didn't take it to the conclusion that we needed to make this a home instead of a building.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So were there any sort of special moments of working with us, or anything that you'd particularly recommend us for?
Well, I think thinking about the whole package. I mean, when I think of an interior designer, I think, oh, well, you're going to come up with some curtains and some rugs and here's a couch or a chair or whatever. And okay, that's great, but not here's what the bedroom layout should be. Here's how you could finish the wall with the wood, and here's how you could build a bed and start to bring in the furnishings, and thinking about the actual physical construction of the product.
Yeah.
And
I think that's where I'm possibly a little bit different from a lot of interior designers, because we're more interior architecture, so there's quite a broad range of work that we can
yes,
do. As you know from your friends, that was a
exactly.
bigger project. We can come in and step in at any point in a project, really. And yeah, it's probably a bit
I
broad.
wish we had done that. Honestly, love where we are. I wish we had done that, thinking about it a little bit more holistically. And now I realize that. So if we're going to engage in another project, it's, oh, I know, we bring in the Kate and team, and hopefully we can really do this the right way at the beginning, rather than having the huge list of things that we still need to do after the builders have left.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand how it can work in that way, and how valuable it is to get us in from an early stage, really. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, I really loved working on your project, and the architects, to me, did such a lovely job. I was really, really careful to, I didn't want to ruin what they'd done, and I really wanted to work with their sort of, their bare bones, because it's a beautiful job. Yeah, but at the same time, make it more homely and bring in the color that you wanted. And
and we still aren't there, but we're close. We've got a few little bits and bobs that we need to figure out now that fabrics are hopefully available. I mean, all this stuff is ridiculous. It's
stuff takes so much longer than you'd think, doesn't it?
Well, it does. The heels, I think, doubled the lead time that we expected. Whatever, 4 months lead time, sure, but it's even longer than that. And then we found the chair. We found the Elysian chair, where the fabric that we perfect. We know what we want. We know the fabric. Let's do it. Oh, we can't get that fabric. Well, shoot. Now we have to go find something else. And that whole adventure
and all the design sourcing time, the thinking, the choosing, the deciding, that all takes time, and that has to be done before the order goes in. And it can go way beyond what you would imagine the lead times would ever be.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, the fabric that we picked from that chair was 11 months or something like that. So it was, and then they said they couldn't get it after we tried to order it. Whatever. And now we're, probably 11 months later, we still don't have a chair, but that's fine. We will get there in the end.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's lovely, and you'll really enjoy it. It's an amazing place.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Now we just have to get the garden. That's the other fun.
And the garden building.
Yeah. We're bringing in solicitors to maybe make that happen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll chat more about that chat more about that, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question just for this.
Yes.
Would you recommend to colleagues, friends, family?
Oh, 100%.
Would you use this again?
100%. Yeah. Without a doubt, I would go to you at the very beginning of any project we would consider, and really try to think about it from the beginning and get all of those questions answered ahead of time, so that we're not scrambling at the last minute trying to find a fixture that fits a specific parameter for a spot because we weren't told about it early enough to go find it. I mean, all of these things, I think having you along the way with the original construction would have made it so much less stressful, because you've done it before and you've thought about these things. And yeah, undoubtedly, I would engage you in any of our projects. And
Thank you very much. Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.